Now at 9, Southwest Missouri educators warn that the elimination of a federal grant could worsen the teacher shortage. Plus, a transition to new leadership at Freeman Health System. And 5 new factory farms could be coming to Southwest Missouri, and farmers and some community members are concerned.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Fallout from President Trump's efforts to dismantle the Department of Education is already trickling down to the 4 states. This is KOAM News at 9 on Fox 14. I'm Dow Quick. A federally funded $4.2 million grant called the Teacher Quality Partnership Grant is now eliminated. The TQP grant was aimed at combating teacher shortages in rural areas. KOAM's Lonnie Walton spoke with the Southwest Center for Educational Excellence in Joplin about the impact.
I spoke to 2 local educators who say losing this federally funded grant could put a lot of strain on our educational system.
I'll tell you that my daughter was part of the grant.
Tony Rossetti is a local superintendent who has a daughter who is currently in school to become a teacher. To help her pay for her education, she's using a TQP grant.
He was a para who is now teaching in a position and working to get her certification.
She's not the only one working on this certification. There are a lot more who are using the funding and now are completely cut off. Melissa Massey for the Southwest Center of Educational Excellence says we need teachers in our community right now.
I would urge the community to look at is whether you have children in the Seneca, the Joplin, the Webb City, the Carthage School District. That's irrelevant. We have teachers that we can't fill in those positions. So we do have a teacher shortage.
And according to Massey and Rossetti, it's not just any teacher, it's the quality also.
These people are already in education, so they know what it's like to be in the classroom.
And right now, people aren't going into the teacher profession. And by them closing the TQP grant, that shows that is not a priority.
With that said, there are ways to help.
I urge the community to contact our legislators, not because they canceled our grant, because we want quality teachers in all of our classrooms.
Reporting in Joplin, I'm Lonnie Walton, KOAM News.
Massey says some students who lost funding during the education process are currently working with MSSU to receive reduced tuition. New leadership takes the reins at Freeman Health System. A symbolic transition of leadership took place today between Freeman outgoing President Paula Baker and the new Freeman President Matthew Fry. Fry, who was chosen as the health system's new leader in January by the Freeman Health System Board of Directors, assumes leadership duties tomorrow. Before his move to Missouri, Fry served as President and Chief Executive Officer of St. John's Hospital and St. John's Children's Hospital in Springfield, Illinois.
I can't pretend that I'm going to be as effective or as awesome, frankly, as Paula, but she's been doing a lot and really going above and beyond to ensure that I'm positioned for success in this new role.
Paula Baker, who announced her retirement in early 2024, has served in various roles with Freeman since 1981, including presiding over the health system for the last 13 years. Let's check in with Chief Meteorologist Doug Heddy now for our first look at the weather.
Well, it turned out to be kind of a gloomy Monday for most of it. Quite a bit cooler, but we're going to warm right back up Tuesday. And we do have at least a low threat for severe weather, a little bit higher threat in southeastern Kansas as we get into Tuesday evening and Tuesday night. Now, Tuesday is going to be okay, but Tuesday night we need to keep our eyes on. Nothing going on outside for us right now. So let's move into Tuesday. The winds really pick up. They're going to be gusting 40, 45 miles per hour at times. I think most of us should get up to about 70 to 72. We're going to have to see if a few supercells can get going. There may be 1 or 2. If 1 or 2 do form, and that is an if they form, they could rotate. So we want to keep our eyes on that. And that would be tomorrow evening. And then we just got to wait for a band to get in, which isn't going to get in until early Wednesday morning. So we're going to break this all down for you here in just a bit.
Catching a few. Southwest Missouri farmers and community members attended a meeting about 5 new factory farms that could open in the area. The farms could have an impact on livelihoods, the environment, and animals. The community got to learn about the impacts from the Social Responsible Agriculture Project and the group Farms Not Factories.
You know, you end up with just unsustainable practices and large amounts of waste, large amounts of demand on the resources in the area. And then also, you have trucks that are coming out to bring feed, to bring chicks, to pick up chickens. So you've also got that extra traffic.
One estimate to how much water the farms could use if all 5 were built is 20 million gallons. A Kansas state budget cut could eliminate funding for an organization that provides grants for art, possibly leading to the loss of some local art programs. KOIM's Melissa Alexis has more.
Express ourselves on stages by telling the stories.
Tony Sanchez, the board president of the Pittsburgh Community Theater, says art and theater are a big part of his life. And Pittsburgh Community Theater is something he's been involved with for over 20 years. Sanchez says one of his favorite things about the arts is the ability to share it with others in the community, which is why he believes cutting funding for the Kansas Art Commission, who provides grants for art projects throughout Kansas, would have a negative impact, especially on a small rural town like Pittsburgh.
Cut something entirely, that really is counterintuitive to, creating a great community and enhancing people's lives through the arts. The arts bring a lot of energy and jobs.
The Kansas Senate recently approved a budget that cuts funds for the Kansas Art Commission. Darcy Schultz, the general manager of Memorial Auditorium in Pittsburgh, says this defunding could hinder music, community theater, mural creations around town, and even arts education.
Limit the number of performances or productions that an organization is able to produce. It could limit the offerings. It could raise ticket prices, because now the organization is having to find ways to generate that revenue.
Schultz says art adds vibrance and employment opportunities to the community and worries that without a buzzing art community in Pittsburgh, some people could opt to leave the town. And Schultz puts out a call to action.
And you want it to stay a vibrant place to live. Please contact your local representatives and express your concern.
Reporting in Pittsburgh, Melissa Alexis, KOAM News.
The Kansas state budget now moves to a conference committee. Authorities confirm a man injured in a motorcycle accident in Joplin this weekend has died. That crash happened Saturday evening at West 7th and Adele Avenue. Authorities say a westbound motorcycle collided with an eastbound SUV that was turning north. The motorcycle operator was rushed to an area hospital but has died. Authorities are not releasing his name or age. The driver of the SUV was also transported to an area hospital. Coming up, getting back into gardening after a long winter. Well, experts say it's a great way to stay active. But if you're not careful, it could also lead to back pain and injuries. Tips to keep your body safe while enjoying your time outside. Coming up. But up first, you might not see them, but microplastics could be closer than you think, even in your food. We'll explain what scientists are doing about that. The agriculture industry accounts for only about 3% of plastics used in the world. But researchers worry it could still have a major impact on our health. Fox's Sue Guzman has more.
Plastic waste may be easy to spot anywhere, but researchers warn the most dangerous types may be the ones we can't see.
Microplastics are created when large plastic in the environment breaks down into smaller and smaller pieces. And the real problem is that those pieces never really go away.
Microplastics can be found on farms around the world from plastic waste, especially in Uganda, where plastic production is very common.
We experience so many plastics, and that is brought up by the reason of having so many plastic factories or industries.
Researchers say many farmers also rely on agricultural plastics like plastic sheeting to help grow their crops as conditions become more challenging.
That breaks down over time, even though it can last for years. Eventually, that plastic breaks down over time, or it tears off and blows away and just becomes essentially another source of plastic in the environment.
While agricultural plastic is a cost-effective way to sustain crop growth, scientists and farmers warn microplastics in farming soil can often end up in humans.
We know that microplastics are in our bodies, in our lungs, our brains. They've been found in a variety of places.
Researchers are working to determine the health effects of microplastics found in soil.
One of the potential issues is that there are other chemicals, potentially toxic chemicals, that adhere onto microplastics and can be moved around in the environment and in our bodies through those microplastics.
Researchers say major engineering solutions are needed to reduce microplastics use in farming and protect humans from dangerous health risks. Sue Guzman, Fox News.
New studies suggest not getting enough of the right kind of sleep might increase the risk of Alzheimer's disease. The two critical sleep stages are slow wave sleep and rapid eye movement, or REM sleep. Experts say most adults should spend between 20 and 25% of their night in each. The study found not spending enough time in these two stages might hasten the deterioration of parts of the brain associated with Alzheimer's. People who take antidepressants face a substantially higher risk of cardiac arrest. A study by the European Society of Cardiology found people who took antidepressants for 1 to 5 years had a 56% higher risk of sudden cardiac death than those who did not. The risk was even higher for people who took the medications for 6 or more years. It's a hobby that continues to gain popularity. Gardening can be fun, and experts say there's growing evidence that it's also good for physical and mental health. But working in the yard can take a toll on the body too. In today's Health Minute, Mandy Gaither has more on how to save your back while gardening.
It's time to get outside. Your backyard is blooming with possibility, and experts say gardening is good for you.
Being outdoors really helps you fight osteoporosis because it helps build vitamin D in your system. And gardening is exercise.
But Dr. Deborah Benzel with Cleveland Clinic Center for Spine Health says if you're not careful, the hobby can also wreak havoc on your back and body, especially if you are more sedentary in the winter months.
It's hard work, and just like any exercise, you have to prepare yourselves.
Before you head out to the garden, Benzel says to warm up and stretch, then take it slow. Start off in smaller intervals and don't try to do everything at once. Gradually increase time in the yard, which she says will build up your stamina, and focus on your form. Don't bend over because that can strain your neck and back.
You want to kneel, you want to sit on a chair, you want to use some kind of stool so that you're not bending over.
Finally, use good tools. Benzel says that can help enhance your ability to effectively garden and help avoid unneeded strain on the body. Afterwards, make sure you stretch.
To loosen up your back, to loosen up your shoulders, and help that recovery process begin to rebuild your body so that you can head out into the garden the next day.
For Health Minute, I'm Mandy Gaither.
Doug is next with a complete look at the forecast, and later, could a recession be on the horizon? Goldman Sachs warns the risk is growing due to the impact of trade tensions. What does that mean for inflation, jobs, and your wallet?
Well, of course, kind of a gloomy Monday for us today. We did get some sunshine late this afternoon into the evening hours, which was nice to see, but kind of cool. Highs only into the 50s, well below where we should be for this time of the year. Looks great. Nice shot. Cornell Arts and Entertainment Complex Tower Cam. Of course, we're looking downtown Joplin. Let's go outside. It's 47 Independence, 45 Grove, Pittsburgh, also in Carthage. The winds are going to return tomorrow. We're going to get those strong southerly winds ahead of our next storm system, which will start to affect us tomorrow night. But expect the winds to gust 40 to 45 during the daytime hours tomorrow. Could even push 50 by tomorrow night. So it stays very windy on Tuesday night, and then the winds slowly start to decrease during the daytime hours on Wednesday. Not much going on. We got some mid and upper level clouds. Here's our next storm system building out across the northern parts of the Rockies and then kind of stretches back into the Pacific Northwest. And that system will at least give us the threat to get some showers and thunderstorms tomorrow night. Doesn't mean everybody's going to get thunderstorms, but low threat Category 2 out of 5. In the yellow, Category 3 out of 5 once you get through southeastern Kansas. Again, these are going to be very hit and miss. So not everybody will get storms. We'll have the threat for a few supercells kind of 9 o'clock, 8 o'clock to about midnight, and then a line of storms late. Main threat's going to be hail and wind across the region. Tonight's fine. Tomorrow looks good. We'll start into lower 40s. Southerly winds really increase. We pop into the mid 60s by noon, and then I think most of us, we're going to be up right around 71, 72, 73 degrees tomorrow afternoon. As we get into tomorrow evening, we'll watch out west and see if one or two guys can get going. And then we'll have to see, even if they do get going, will they affect southeastern Kansas? But if one or two storms can get moving, then we will have that severe threat. Then I think most of the night's okay until very late Tuesday night. So we're talking 2, 3 o'clock in the morning. Line of storms will start to drive in. So it's going to be very loud late Tuesday night into Wednesday morning. And with those storms, some of those could be strong to severe as well. And then we clear out, rebound into the mid 70s as we go into Wednesday. 46 to start, 59 by noon. Let's go high temp on your Tuesday of 71 degrees. And look at this, we got rain, not severe, but rain moving back in Thursday and then moves out late Thursday. And here comes another batch moving in on Friday. So we'll have showers, a few thunderstorms Friday, and here comes another batch on Saturday. So we're going to get some good spring-like rain as we go through this week. All right, an alert day tomorrow, more like an alert night. Tuesday night, tomorrow's going to be fine, 71. Thunderstorms into Wednesday morning. Some of those could be strong to severe, and then cooling down with on and off batches of rain. I knew what my brain wanted to say, and then it just blanked.
Well, it's good enough.
Yeah.
Batches, good word. Thanks, Doug. Coming up, the latest on the trade war.
The countdown to April 2nd is almost over, the day President Trump will unveil a massive tariff plan. I'm Rebecca Castor at the White House with what to expect coming up.
President Trump is preparing to ramp up the trade war. On Wednesday, he's planning to slap tariffs on all U.S. trading partners. Fox News correspondent Rebecca Castor is at the White House with the latest.
This is the beginning of Liberation Day in America. I call it Liberation Day in America. April 2nd is Liberation Day.
After weeks of teasing it, April 2nd is almost here, when President Trump plans to implement a massive tariff plan, including reciprocal tariffs on foreign countries.
He is trying to fix decades of unfair trade practices that have ripped our country off, that have sent jobs overseas, and that have forced millions of Americans out of their jobs.
Tariffs will be far more generous than those countries were to us, meaning they will be kinder.
Even so, Trump says all countries, not just those with the largest trade deficits, will be taxed on Wednesday. And he's already slapped taxes on all foreign steel, aluminum, and vehicles.
Think ahead to a year or two from now that we have those auto tariffs, how many cars are going to be made in the U.S. by U.S. firms with U.S. workers? It's going to be a boom.
But critics are worried about unintended economic consequences, like inflation jumping back up or a recession.
There's nobody I've heard that has suggested that this initiation of tariff wars is good economic policy, and it's certainly not the way to bring down prices for working families.
Voters are skeptical too. With a new AP poll finding, 6 in 10 Americans disapprove of the way Trump is handling trade negotiations. That same AP poll, though, found that about half of U.S. adults are still on board with Trump's immigration policies. At the White House, Rebecca Castor, Fox News.
Goldman Sachs says the U.S. economy faces a growing risk of a recession as President Trump's trade war threatens to stunt growth, reignite inflation, and increase unemployment. The Wall Street Bank is warning clients it now sees a 35% chance of a recession in the next 12 months. That's up from 20% previously. Goldman Sachs also anticipates higher inflation and more unemployment. Goldman Sachs still expects the U.S. economy to avoid a downturn, but other forecasters think it's more of a 50-50 call. People in the U.S. are moving much less than they used to. According to Redfin, the average homeowner now stays in their home for about 11.8 years, almost twice as long as in 2005. One big reason, low mortgage rates. Many homeowners locked in low rates don't want to pay more with today's higher ones. In California, property tax laws also incentivize staying put since moving could mean a big tax increase. The fact that fewer people are moving is changing the housing market and making it harder for buyers to find available homes. New research suggests ancient iguanas might have been incredible sailors, traveling thousands of miles across the ocean. How they made that remarkable journey next. A new study shows ancestors of modern iguanas might have been astounding sailors. It indicates they might have traveled about 5,000 miles by sea around 34 million years ago. The route from North America to Fiji might be the longest overwater journey by a non-human land vertebrate species. Researchers say genetic evidence suggests the ancient iguanas might have floated on vegetation. Their study is out in the journal Proceedings of the National Academy of Sciences. 30 more minutes of news, weather, and sports coming your way. Coming up, Russia launches another wave of air attacks on Ukraine as President Trump pushes for a ceasefire. And President Trump hits a possible third term. Could it really happen?
You're watching the 4 states' most watched news.
Deal between Russia and Ukraine is looking more and more unlikely, but President Trump is remaining hopeful for now, despite growing opposition from Vladimir Putin. Fox News correspondent Alex Hogan has more from London.
Another night of intense Russian air attacks on Ukraine as the Kremlin responds to new criticism from President Trump. Over the weekend, the president vented his frustration at Vladimir Putin's unwillingness to agree to his peace proposal. Moscow said Monday they're trying to arrange a call between the two leaders to settle their differences, but also added the negotiations will be a, quote, drawn-out process.
Putin couldn't care less about diplomacy. There has been a U.S. proposal for an unconditional ceasefire, and every day in response to this proposal, there are Russian bombs.
President Trump is remaining cautiously optimistic, but also says he's preparing a new round of sanctions if Russia doesn't get serious about a ceasefire.
I think he'll be okay. But if he isn't, I was disappointed in a certain way, some of the things that were said over the last day or two.
The president is also insisting Europe handle more of the responsibility for Ukraine's security, a view shared by his Finnish counterpart, Alexander Stubb, who visited Mar-a-Lago over the weekend. I spoke with him after the meeting. He's backing President Trump's ceasefire plan, saying more has been done for European security in the past 3 months than in the last 30 years.
He is probably the only person in the world who can mediate the peace between Ukraine and Russia. Why? Because Putin respects and in many ways fears Donald Trump.
President Stubb suggested the Trump administration set a deadline of April 20th for Russia to sign on to the ceasefire. In London, Alex Hogan, Fox News.
Workers will soon remove a historic southern magnolia tree that's graced the White House grounds since the 1800s. President Trump announced the tree planted by former President Andrew Jackson is in bad shape and has become a safety hazard. The tree is planted near the entrance to the White House. The president says workers will preserve the wood from the old tree, and it's possible it'll be used for something else in the future. A new tree will be planted in its place. The tree removal is expected to take place next week. Could another Trump run in 2028 be a real thing? The president seems to think so, even if the Constitution says otherwise. Fox News correspondent Madeline Rivera explains.
President Trump raising eyebrows in Washington this weekend. In a Sunday interview with NBC News, the president not ruling out the possibility of a third term in the White House, saying, quote, "A lot of people want me to do it." He later followed up with remarks to reporters on Air Force One.
So many people are saying, you've got to run again. They love the job we do. Most importantly, they love the job we do.
President Trump has previously speculated about running again at rallies and other events, though many saw those comments as a joke.
It will be the greatest honor of my life to serve not once, but twice, or 3 times, or 4 times now.
The 22nd Amendment limits presidents to 2 4-year terms, which begins with no person shall be elected to the office of the president more than twice. In his NBC interview, the president seemed undeterred, though, saying, quote, there are methods which he could do it. For now, the White House and President Trump say he's focused on his current agenda.
I don't want to talk about a third term now because no matter how you look at it, we got a long time to go.
Amending the Constitution to abolish the 2-term limit would be a tall task, requiring a 2/3 vote of Congress or the states agreeing to call a constitutional convention. Then 3/4 of the states would need to agree to ratify the change. The only president to serve more than 2 terms was FDR, who served 4. The 22nd Amendment was ratified after his time in office. At the White House, Mather Rivera, Fox News.
Doug is next with a complete look at the forecast. Plus, a rocket crashes in a fiery plunge, but the company behind it calls the mission a success. And the Hubble Space Telescope spots a rare celestial illusion.
Hey, everyone.
Well, of course, a little bit chilly for us today. Temperatures only into the 50s, 4 highs. We should be quite a bit warmer than that, but hey, we're going to warm up as we go into tomorrow. Great shot, Cornell Arts and Entertainment Complex, Tower Cam. We are looking downtown Joplin. Temperatures not bad, chilly, but we're not going to drop off too much more for us tonight due to southerly winds, which are going to really start to kick in, but we're going to have those gusts. 40, 45 during the daytime hours tomorrow. And then once we get into Wednesday, those gusts are going to be pushing, and this is pretty much tomorrow night into Wednesday morning, 45 upwards to 50, and then they'll slowly come down as we go through the day on Wednesday. All right, we've got some clouds kind of skirting through. Clouds will increase by morning ahead of our next storm system, which is kind of building. You can see showers and thunderstorms out across parts of the Dakotas, and then another upper level wave out toward the Pacific Northwest. So all that is going to head toward us. We do have at least a low threat for severe weather, a level 2 out of 5 for most of us tomorrow. Here's the kicker. It's going to be very scattered, so a good chunk of us won't get any rain, but the areas that do get it could be severe. A little higher threat once you get out across southeastern Kansas. 9 p.m. to 6 a.m. Main threat would be hail and wind, but we do have at least a low tornado threat as we go into tomorrow evening. Hour by hour, clouds thicken, sitting mainly lower 40s. Temps start to rise quickly, upper 40s, 50s, 60s, up to about 71 or 2 during the afternoon. A lot of clouds all day long, again, very windy. As we go through tomorrow evening, we'll start to focus our attention out toward the west because across Kansas and Oklahoma, 1, 2, or 3 supercells will most likely form. The question is where? And then where do they go? So a couple little random guys could shoot through southeastern Kansas, maybe through parts of Oklahoma, but those would be the ones that would have the potential to rotate. Those are going to be gone. So really most of tomorrow night, we continue with the severe threat, but most of it's going to be dry. Then thunderstorms will start to get going in our northwestern counties. Those will have a hail and wind threat, mainly after 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning, and then expanding in on Wednesday morning. So we just got to kind of watch this and see how it unfolds during the daytime hours tomorrow. 46 to start, 59 by noon, high temp 71. We do have a lot of rain potentially moving in later this week. Non-severe Thursday into Friday, we have bands of showers, even a few thunderstorms. Another storm system moves in over the weekend. So if we look at potential rainfall over the next 5 days, 5.5 days, a lot of areas could pick up easily 1, 2, 3, 4, maybe 5 inches of rain, which is quite a bit. All right, so an alert day tomorrow or an alert tomorrow night due to the potential severe weather. Morning storms Wednesday, cooling down the rest of the week, but look at those showers kind of inching in for the rest of the week.
Inching in, and the totals will be inching upward.
Yeah, we need the rain, but still.
Yeah, not all at once.
No.
Thanks, Jack. Coming up in sports, a couple of local basketball standouts are named Players of the Year. Plus, Pittsburgh Purple Dragon signs to play football at Coffeyville Community College. John Dales has those stories and more. It's coming up next.
Royals play here. Select games on the KOAM and Fox 14 group of stations.
Hi, I'm Richard Weinsberg with Arvest Bank. We hope you will tune in to the morning news every Tuesday for the Finance Files on KOAM. Each month, we will feature a new topic, which we hope will help you financially. It's the Finance Files, Tuesday mornings on KOAM.
The real circus is back. The Tarzan Zerbini Circus, under the big top at the old Atwoods location in Webb City. 7 exciting shows, April 3rd through the 5th. It's fun for the whole family. You'll see elephants and horses, jugglers and clowns, acrobats and aerial.
On this final day of March, we get started at Pittsburgh High School, where a Purple Dragon signs to play college football right here in the 4 states. Pittsburgh High School senior Liam Mahan signs his letter of intent this afternoon to play football at Coffeyville Community College. During his 4 years at PHS, Mahan has been an integral part of both the Purple Dragon offensive and defensive lines. He plans on playing defensive line once he suits up for the Red Ravens.
With the opportunities available, going the juke route with the new eligibility rules, it's a smart thing to do. You get 2 years to get stronger, bigger, faster, and it's a smart thing to do before you head to a 4-year school. So I like how open their coaches are and how easy it is to get to know them, get ready to advance to the next level.
And over the weekend, Sports in Kansas releases its all-state teams for the 2024-25 high school basketball season. Dozens of our local athletes get recognized on those lists, including 2 who are named Players of the Year for their respective classes. Colgan High School junior Jakayla Davis is named the Player of the Year for Class 2A by Sports in Kansas. Earlier this month, Davis helped lead the Lady Panthers to a 3rd consecutive trip to the Final Four. She averaged upwards of 25 points and 4 steals per game this season, and has eclipsed 1,000 career points scored. She's the 2nd Colgan Panther to win this award in as many years, after her former teammate Lily Brown did so last season. Meanwhile, Galena High School senior Jack Perry, he's named the Class 3A Boys Player of the Year by Sports in Kansas. He helped lead the Bulldogs to an undefeated season, a CNC League outright championship, and a trip to the Final Four. Perry averaged 22 points, 8 rebounds, and 3 assists per game on the year, and he scored over 1,000 points in his high school career. He shares the award with Reed Freisen from Heston and Brady Brumbaugh from Goodland. Switching gears to college basketball, we told you just about a week ago that Missouri Southern freshman Tyreek Brooks had entered the transfer portal. Well, over the weekend, he commits to Missouri State, which is located in his hometown of Springfield, Missouri. Brooks averaged 13 points and 4 rebounds per contest for the Lions this year. He started in 26 of their 28 games, and this also comes as his former teammate Justin Duff also leaves Southern to commit to Truman State University. Over in Milwaukee, today they celebrate the life of legendary play-by-play man Bob Uecker prior to the Brewers home opener. But the Royals spoil the festivities early. Top of the 1st, Michael Massey sends one to deep left field. That bounces over the wall for a ground rule double. Just like that, Kansas City leads 1-0. Very next batter, Hunter Renfroe, pulls this one down the line and left. Fair ball. That's a 2 RBI single. A couple more Royals will come across home plate. It's 3-0 Kansas City. Now Chris Bubich, he gets the start on the mound for the Royals, and he is rolling early. The left-hander strikes out the side in the bottom of the 1st inning, and that would be a sign of things to come. He throws 6 shutout innings with 8 strikeouts, and the Royals never look back after jumping out to that early lead. They beat the Brewers 11-1. They improved their record to 2-2 on the young season. That's it for sports. We're back right after this.
What appears to be a rocket fail in Norway is actually a success, and NASA sees a chance alignment. Jim Rowbottom has those stories in today's Take a Look at This.
In what looks like an epic fail, a German startup company's orbital rocket crashed after takeoff. The flight was launched from a spaceport in Norway. It marked the first time a rocket capable of reaching orbit was launched from continental Europe, excluding Russia. The rocket, called Spectrum, was airborne for only about 30 seconds. It then dramatically turns and nosedives into the Norwegian Sea, going down in a blaze of glory. The company says despite the crash, the mission was not a failure, but a clear success. They say the liftoff allowed them to gather a lot of flight data and experience to apply to future missions. Spectrum is designed to launch satellites into orbit. Also on the space front, the Hubble telescope spotted a chance alignment. This spiral galaxy far, far away is classified as a flocculent spiral. That's a word you don't hear every day, flocculent. It means its spiral arms are patchy and indistinct. The bright light near the center of this galaxy is actually in a different galaxy, ours. NASA says the chance alignment makes it look like the star is at the heart of this galaxy, but it's not. For Take a Look at This, I'm Jim Rowbottom.
Cypress Hill teams up with a world-famous orchestra for a performance inspired by The Simpsons, how a cartoon joke turned into a reality. Next. Pop group Cypress Hill has a new movie heading to theaters next week. Rick Demagella has the story for us in today's Hollywood Minute.
That's Cypress Hill and the London Symphony Orchestra. The performance was captured for the concert film Black Sunday Live at the Royal Albert Hall.
I felt very blessed and, honored to be on that stage and performing, with the LSO. It's, one of those things that, you would talk about it here and there, but I never thought it would be like a reality type of thing.
Do you know Insane in the Brain?
We mostly know classical, but we could give it a shot.
Sendog reveals the inspiration for the collaboration came from The Simpsons.
Back in the 90s, when we did an episode of The Simpsons, there was talk of us playing with an orchestra. And I know it was for a TV show, and it was, it was like a joke or whatever type of thing, but somehow along the way, people kept talking about it and talking about it.
Drop the bomb on them, G, let's go, come on. Whoever had big things to make a big cream, big shot, heavy hitter on the bench.
I felt like a different man up there, I guess. I felt like something really special was going on, and we were part of it. I think emotionally it took me to new levels that I've never felt before.
The concert will be released as a live album on June 6th. In Hollywood, I'm Rick Damagella.
And whether you're a kid or an adult, the likelihood is you've used a crayon to write or draw at some point. Well, this is National Crayon Day. Artists around the world have used wax and chalk-based crayons for centuries. Edwin Benny created the brightly colored crayons most people are familiar with today. The year was 1903. Benny's company developed the Crayola division for children for the first time, and of course the rest is history. Millions of people around the world use crayons today. And that is our time for tonight. Thanks for joining us. We're going to leave you with video of a warthog celebrating her 14th birthday at the Oakland Zoo in California. Let's make it a great tomorrow.